Oh, good one, Kyle. I don't know how to start. How did I start last week? I can't remember. What have you guys been listening
Literally
to?
like
How are you all? Tell me. Jump in. Greg's bald now.
I shaved my head.
Yeah.
Greg shaved his head.
That headset really like nestles on your head really nicely. It's very aesthetically pleasing.
Mate, I'll tell you what, everything is better when you're bald. Genuinely, I walked past. It was really hot the other day, and I walked past the like freezer aisle in the supermarket, and I could just. It was so refreshing, just the breeze on my skin.
I do feel that, and also like just running your hand along like the bristles of your head, just like
Yeah.
Coming out the shower, and it's just. The shampoo's just gone. It's not lingering there for half the
day. Do you need to use shampoo? Like, is that even necessary?
I didn't think so, but apparently it is because it's good for your scalp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Matt's been bald for like 3 years, and he still shampoos his head.
Fair.
Yeah, I might do the clean shave and turtle wax and have a proper shiny head.
Oh yeah, go shiny, go proper Matt Bennett shiny head.
Go full Lex Luthor.
Oh my god! Well, you have made the band dynamic. We now have a board member, which is great. We're not all just the same haircut in a line. Ben also did something. Not sure if I'm a fan. I mean, it looks really good.
Yeah, be more supportive, man. I like it.
I will not.
I was not supportive. He walked in the kitchen whilst I was cooking something, and I turned around and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Come on, Greg, we can be bald together. Bald face.
Yeah, bald bros.
Bald bros.
Together you make our me tin. Oh dear. Well, our gig went well. Also, some twat Ben got fucking COVID. We couldn't fucking play our gig. So
only Ben got COVID.
What a twat getting COVID. So
non-COVID bros, Kyle. Am I right? Non-COVID bros.
Hey, non-COVID.
Me and Ben are immune now.
Giga do this.
Well, don't. I mean, Kyle, don't count your eggs before they hatch, mate. You haven't had your PCR result yet. You might be positive.
I swear to God, if I'm positive on the last day of isolation, I'm gonna fucking yeet myself out the window.
It happened to my mate, my dad's mate. You know, Kevin. His daughter brought back COVID. The wife got it 3 days later, and Kevin got it on the 10th day, so he had to isolate for 20 days.
Oh man, so peak.
Yeah,
so jinx it. Even if your housemates have COVID, apparently you don't have to isolate now under certain circumstances. So they are changing the rules.
Isn't it only like if you're double vaxxed or something?
That's only if you're double vaxxed and you're a negative after a PCR. If you're positive after a PCR, even if you are double jabbed, you still need to isolate.
Oh, so, yeah, I mean, if you have it, yeah, but if you're like living with somebody who has it and then you test negative, you're still fine to go out.
Yeah. If you're double jabbed after 14 days, yeah.
Good times. Well, after this weekend, I'm gonna fucking email a shit ton of venues and be like, "Come over, let me play our gig, please. Come over, please."
I think it probably might be worth maybe I'm gonna try my hardest linking up with some like local Brighton bands as well, because I think if you actually get to speaking with people who are like have gigs lined up who need support acts or whatever, then because you know like sometimes it's even up to the band like who's headlining, not the actual venue. I'm not really sure how it works.
I mean,
Sam has said that to me a couple of times.
Yeah, fair enough. Could be both. I know that Parky, who runs the Firehouse, would always be like, "I can't fucking find any support acts."
Yeah.
And now I'm like, "We're here. Hello."
Yeah, we're around.
We've got music.
Let's go play Firehouse.
I'd love to play the Firehouse.
I'd great. Love that.
Oh dear.
They play downstairs, right?
Yeah.
There's an upstairs and Firehouse.
It'd be very intimate.
There is.
I remember we went upstairs there once.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever been upstairs in Firehouse.
it's not usually open.
Oh, okay.
It was open and anyway, tangent. But yeah,
I was gonna say, yeah, are we ever gonna start?
we're doing a podcast. Oh shit, yeah, fuck. This is episode 29. So, and today we're talking about Anamanaguchi, Endless Fantasy, and John Gomm, The Faintest Idea, as well as Black Peaks, Glass-Built Castles, and Bo Burnham's Welcome to the Internet.
Last proof Nazguls.
Yeah. It has just occurred to me that I have not listened to the Black Peaks song, so I'm gonna have to do that.
Okay, now
it's all right. In true, I don't know about you guys, but I listened. We had a whole month to listen to everything, and I listened to everything today.
Same.
So,
Same.
we listened to half of it yesterday and the John Gomm album today.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
And can we also draw attention to, boys, that we have 100 subarinos now?
We
fucking did it.
If we play a gig to 100 people, I'd be happy chappy. That'd be insane. 100 people.
Got to imagine that while we're sitting here speaking, we're in like an auditorium of 100 people in the audience watching us. That's what it's like. That's what's happening right now.
Oh, it'd be fucking amazing doing this live. Can you imagine? Okay, this is what's going to happen. We're going to be like, can we play our first gig? And then we just go up on stage and just sit there, just do CHUBcast.
Welcome.
There was no band.
Open Ruin to CHUBcast episode 30. Should we just do that for episode 100? Like actually just fucking CHUBcast filmed before a live studio audience.
That'd be sick. Oh dear.
Fuck you know.
What have you guys been? Sorry, Greg, go for it.
If you just put on an event in like the fucking Kingsmere Community Centre and put up some posters and just put CHUBcast, no like information about what it was, I bet you some sad old fucks would turn up anyway.
We should try
Somebody
it.
would come and watch.
We should try it. CHUBcast live at some gazebo in Preston Park. Come watch it.
Live in this caravan.
Let's get a bunch of like fucking ketted up maniacs just walk up like, oh, I thought it'd be very good.
I have to admit,
Good night,
though,
fishies.
Night fish.
Because of Bloodstock, the music we listened to in this episode, I was sitting there like, this isn't metal. What?
My brain doesn't work anymore.
This isn't heavy. Where's Screaming Man?
Where's Shouty Man?
Where's Danny Filth going?
Who is Danny Filth?
He's the lead singer of Cradle of Filth.
Yeah.
So it's his cradle. Oh,
it's
his cradle.
I never knew.
He's just like, yeah. And like, oh, it's just so shit.
I told you it's an experience. It's bizarre.
Dude,
You
I
gotta
was
watch
laughing
it
the
once.
whole way through. It was so
You gotta
funny.
watch it once.
Hilarious.
I remember I was just like, all right, I've heard of Cradle of Filth. And then, yeah, I walked away just like, huh.
Are they like Dying Fetus level of bad? I've never actually heard anything they've done.
I mean,
so Cradle of Filth actually started off as like a joke, like as like a piss take of extreme metal, and then they just by accident became like one of the biggest extreme metal bands at the time.
Yeah, like they were playing before Creator, like they were really high up on the bill.
Yeah,
and everyone, well, I don't know, everyone you speak to is like, yeah, they're fucking shit, but I go and watch them anyway because it's like arguably it's a good live show. Lots of fire, lots of cool imagery, and it's just fun to watch. But they're shit.
Yeah, they are.
It's
shit,
really
dude.
weird.
They suck. I actually own an EP of theirs. I think I owned their first EP from the Cradle to Enslave, and I think they only get put on the bill at like Bloodstock and stuff because they're from like Leeds or something. So they're like hometown heroes. Anyway, shall we review an album?
Let's do that.
Which one should we do first? You know what? Anamanaguchi begins with an A. So let's go in alphabetical order.
There you go. Nice.
Anamanaguchi.
Anamanaguchi, dude.
Kyle, this is your choice, right?
It is, yeah. I thought I'd pick a little bit of a weird one with ulterior motives to try and get people to come to the gig.
Oh, wait, one sec.
Hello.
Transition.
You may continue. It's just for me to make it easier when I edit because there's no there's a visual cue. Last time it was really annoying. I just had to scrub through it, listening to it. Like, fucking, where did we fucking change?
Anamanaguchi. Yeah, they make most of their music using an original Nintendo and a Game Boy, and then they chuck some drums and natural guitars and basses over the top of it. I found out today from the Wikipedia that there's like 2 different things that Anamanaguchi could mean. Apparently, when they were at uni, they went to a play, like all 3 of them were like fashion interns, and one of them worked with Armani, one of them worked with Gucci, and one of them worked with Prada. So they used to be called the Armani Prada Gucci guys, which just eventually rolled into Anamanaguchi guys. So yeah, but that's debated whether or not it's true. This is actually their second album, which I found out also today. I thought this was their first. They have an album before this. They also did the soundtrack for the Scott Pilgrim versus the World video game, which is fucking great. Both the game and the soundtrack. And yeah, they're cute. They're fun. This album's very long, probably the longest we've ever done, I think. Yeah. And what did you think, Zach?
Me? Well,
Zach?
I've actually known Anamanaguchi for fucking years because of my old mate Andy. Really liked chiptune back in college.
I think it might have been you who showed me them, actually.
Yeah.
You showed me Helix Nebula. You were like, you like this? And I was like, I do like this.
Yeah, there was loads of like EPs before this album. Power Supply and Dawn Metropolis are the ones, and Airbrushed are the ones I listened to. And when I showed you guys, you basically did like let's put the songs on that sound the coolest. And I like Helix Nebula. It's obviously a sick song. I hope you did play it live. Like, I'd assume that, I don't really know, because Anamanaguchi to me is such a bizarre band because they just seem like a chiptune project. And then when Endless Fantasy came out, I remember like being a bit like, I didn't really like it because I thought it was really poppy in comparison to like Dawn Metropolis and the other stuff, which were literally just video game music. So I didn't really like it. So this is actually my first time listening to it through properly. And no, I really liked it this time. I actually really liked the pop elements this time as well. It's long.
Yeah,
it's very long. It doesn't need to be an hour and fucking 17 minutes long.
No, absolutely not.
Could literally have been hard. You could have got 2 albums out of this. And that's the problem. That's my main issue with the album, is it all kind of blended into one, because I listened to the whole thing in one go, and I walked away going, I don't remember any of the songs. I remember a lot of songs going like and stuff like that. I swear that was like every song.
It certainly have like an aesthetic.
Yeah, and
like a theme.
But like, I did really enjoy it, and chiptune is such a great sound because we're all nerds here. We all grew up, or at least I grew up with 16-bit music and Pokemon, obviously. So I love it. I love that like dodgy heavy metal sounding noise that the Mega Drive makes. I love plinky plonky chiptune music of Pokemon. So, and just adding a guitar and some drums is good. It's good. It's long though. It's long.
It is long.
Long.
My in my notes I said like in my opinion, like everything after Meow could have probably been cut, except for like the last song, which I actually really like. Where,
I mean,
how do you say the name of the last song? It's not really got a name. It's just.
Yeah, it's like that.
It's a crying face.
It is.
Crying
Literally,
face
the song is
bee.
named.
Oh, is that what the B is? I was wondering.
Yeah, it's a thumbs up.
It's a thumbs up.
Ah,
It's just
okay.
like-
I thought you only had one
it's
ear.
like-
I see it. Yeah.
With the tears.
So,
No, I'd have to
but
agree with you. Meow. I remember like Meow. I remember fucking interludes.
Meow.
Yeah.
Meow. Meow.
They weren't-
Meow. Meow.
They weren't really interludes. They were just like shorter songs.
yeah, the interludes weren't
yeah.
that bad in my opinion.
To be
In
fair,
fact,
I'm
I
only memeing.
thought,
I'm looking at the set list now, the album now, and I'm seeing the words interludes, but I don't remember there being any interludes. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's all the same. They keep up the pace through the interludes. It's not like a skit or anything. It's just more of like the same,
Yeah.
but just a 1 minute track instead of a.
Maybe
4
they
minute.
just. But they also put names next to the interludes, which begs the question: like, why even call them interlude when you had names on them to begin with? You could have just called them something, even though it's only a 1 minute thing. Like,
I guess they want to like.
just call it Still Splodin though, and just call it fucking Total Tea Time. Like, you don't have to establish that it's an interlude.
I think they want to like pretend as if the album is more structured than it really is. They were like, "Oh my god, we've got a 25 song album. It's just one big, like non-stop chiptune train. What are we gonna do?" And they're like,
All the small ones, call them the interludes.
"Yeah, break it up, but not really."
maybe they just had one song that didn't really connect to each other, and they were like, "Fuck it, cut it up." Interludes.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
little gremlin
I think they just
songs.
made this whole album as one massive long song, and then just arbitrarily were like, "Okay, cut it there, cut it there, cut it there, cut it there." Put names on.
I'd believe that. I don't remember this album stopping. I remember turning it on, and
Yeah.
I was making a new background for my Etsy store. Link in the description, probably not.
Really.
And it just fucking didn't. I just swear I just heard chiptune for an hour and a half, and then it stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty relentless. Especially because, almost all the songs as well are just like proper, like really upbeat as well. So they kind of switch it up like a little bit towards the end, but for the most part, they're all just like still sploding though.
Still Splodin though. I mean, yeah, I personally only remember up to maybe like Space Wax America, because I remember looking at the song name and being like, that's a silly name. And then everything afterwards, I think I started making dinner at that point, and then like I kind of after basically probably almost an hour at that point at SpaceX America, I was like, okay, I get the gist. All right, and then just gave up on the rest of the album. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I even listened to.
You just dipped. You just fucking dipped.
I straight up dipped. I straight up dipped. I was like, I'm done with this now. Like, this is I get it.
It's definitely the weaker end of the album for sure.
Yeah. Like, that's. I mean, I'm sure it's lovely, but it's yeah. This is. I guess since I'm talking, I might as well like spoiler.
Greg, what do you think?
Sakyu's baton pass.
I'm English. I will wait my turn.
Not very effective. Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, I don't really have that much to say about this album or the next album, and that's not to say that we didn't listen to them with the intent of making notes. I think it's the fact that both of them, which is funny that you guys chose these albums back to back, are very like one not like one dimensional, like it's like, but it focuses around one thing. So like in this, it's the chip tune with elements maybe added in slightly like to make the chip tune better. And the next album with John Gomm is it's all guitar with like maybe some vocals like added in, like, but the focus is mainly on the guitar and like how like awesome it is and everything like that. And I felt like when I was trying to make notes for both these albums, I was just like, oh, I got nothing. It sounds like all that came to my head when I was trying to think of things was it all just sounds very pretty. Like what like I don't even know like what even to say apart from like maybe in this album like the poppier sort of singles were definitely the highlights for me. Like like Endless Fantasy and Meow. And even I even liked Prom Night, because at the end of Prom Night there's like this like they chip tuned like a class. Is it Prom Night at the end where they do like a classical bit? And there's a bit where at the end it sounds like it's from like an advert. Do you remember that, Kyle?
Oh, it wasn't Prom Night. Prom Night's the one with singing all the way through, and the end it has like a really beefy little kind of breakdown.
Oh, do you remember which one it was?
We did say like this does sound like it was an interlude. I'm pretty sure it was fucking
Was it an
Total
interlude?
Tea Time that we were.
Maybe
like,
it was
this
the
sounds
interlude
familiar.
after Prom Night.
Yeah, I
maybe.
think it might have been. Yeah.
Gymnopody number 1.
Oh wait, yeah, I think that actually is a classical, a song as well.
Oh yeah, it is. It's the one that went. Boop, boop, boop,
Yeah.
that one.
Oh, Big Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, Big Ben.
So I remember
Big
that because I fucking loved that interlude, because obviously, you know, just doing a chip tune version of a classical song, which was beautiful. Yeah. I don't really. Zach, you say things.
No, I'm in the same boat, to be honest. I wanted to like write down loads of shit, but I didn't. But like the songs that stood out to me were the ones with vocals in it. They were like my favorite ones. When it was just chiptune-y, it kind of went a bit background music-y. But when vocals came in, it drew my attention back. So they are ultimately my favorite songs. Looking at the fucking list, though, there's no like featuring blah blah or whatever, so I don't actually know which songs
it's hard to
I
tell,
liked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Prom Night's my favorite song on the album and has vocals all the way through. Meow has
female.
Meow has vocals. If you include meow, meow as vocals, then it has vocals. And then the song also has vocals, like some hippie dude just giving a rambling speech about,
oh yeah,
we are all passengers aboard spaceship Earth and shit like that.
Yeah.
I just remembered another thing that why I really liked to Meow as well. Before in Total Tea, it's either in Total Tea Time or SPF 420, which amazing
Great
name,
title.
obviously.
Yeah.
There's a bit that has like dog barking in it, and then like as the like it had like dogs and stuff in it. Meow came out on pretty much afterwards, and I was just like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's Total Tea Time. Yeah,
it is Total Tea Time that has it. Yeah. I thought
It's
so,
a
and I was
concept
like,
album.
it's a concept album
about animals. Or just
yeah.
randomly put like sheep bleating on one of our songs, and then the next one has like cows mooing.
This is I'll say this for this album. This is probably the first album where I actually not only accept, but I actually enjoyed the interludes, because it added something to the experience. I think it's kind of a bit of a criticism, but also like a boon for it, because it's like saying like the only reason I liked the interludes is because everything kind of molded together into one continuous experience anyway, so they didn't take away from it. It wasn't like listening to like a metal album and then having like an interlude with someone speaking for a minute or something like that, which is bullshit. It was part of the whole listening experience, which was really pretty. So, but then obviously on the other hand, it's also saying that it all kind of molded together, which unfortunately for me it did. To a degree. Not in a bad way, but kind of in a little bit of a bad way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd voluntarily sit and listen to an hour and 15 minutes straight of chiptune in any circumstance other than CHUBcast. Even though individually I love almost every song on this album. But
it's definitely a shuffler, I think.
Have we found another album fatigue album where after a while, even though it's a good, they're all probably great songs individually, but when you listen to them together, you're just a bit like, okay, I get it, like kind of thing.
Yeah, it's hard to really. I think it's the same problem with both of the albums for this week, as you mentioned. Is like because it's like kind of deliberately. It's an art form where it like deliberately limits itself down to like one bass element, so acoustic guitar and vocals and chiptune stuff. Like it's hard to really be diverse and change things up from song to song. But I feel like this album, because it's so long, it becomes way more apparent on this one than the John Gomm one.
I was gonna say I don't really know any other chiptune acts, but like, are there more experimental examples of the genre where they like do more interesting stuff with it, or is chiptune always limited by, you know, having to be what you expect from like video game music?
I've never really found any that experiment. It's always just chiptune.
Yeah, and even then, like they're normally all quite like bombastic and upbeat and hype and stuff. Like I don't think I've found like any chiptune that's like kind of a bit slower or a bit more like melodic or whatever, you know. It's
to be
always
honest,
like
Anamanaguchi's Anamanaguchi's probably the most unique one because they've got actual like guitar and drums
they
and
actually
shit.
have instruments.
Yeah.
Do you know what this album actually reminded me of, Carl? Sithu Ai.
Oh yeah, Sifu Ai is fucking great.
He blatantly has chiptuney influences though, right? Because when you listen to like a lot of his songs, it's got very similar kind of melodies to this, but he's just doing it on guitar rather than snares or whatever.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah, actually, and now that I think about it, like if you listen to the song off of the Scott Pilgrim soundtrack called Another Winter, it's got this main riff which is like and like Sifu Ai does that kind of like stuff all the time, where it's just like really upbeat little cool riffs in between like the main ones. So that's a good shout. I do want to do some Sifu on here at some point because he's really good.
Oh, he's so good. The Senpai EP is fucking gold.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of bands, like especially chiptune bands like this, where they use like the Nintendo and Super Nintendo chipsets, like they're all like limited by the technology, and a lot of them tend to be like really minor. Like there's a lot of like really upbeat notes because at the end of the day, like it was made for like fucking Mario and cute little arcade games and stuff. So it's kind of hard to write more downbeat stuff. Like I recently found a guy called Master Boot Record, and he makes metal music, but using floppy disk drives, like the sound of floppy disk drives, like ejecting and stuff. And it actually sounds pretty fucking good. But it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess the diversity in stuff like this is more to do with like what set of sounds you choose rather than like, because it's so like deliberately limiting yourself. Like, just what you can do with that set of sounds is what's limiting you more than like your imagination, I guess.
Some people are just living on the fucking bleeding edge, aren't they? Like...
Who'd have thought of doing that? That guy, apparently.
Yeah.
This dude.
Oh, well, Greg, do you have anything to say? Greg, do you have anything to say?
Like, I already said some things. I brought up City. I agree largely with what's been said. It was pretty long, wasn't it? And yeah, it kind of did all blend into one for me, but it was like one pretty enjoyable hour and 15-minute song. I like the upbeatness. It's like good for doing upbeat activities too, but yeah, there just wasn't really enough like to keep me interested. I liked the bits with the vocals and I liked the bits with sort of funky melodies, but couldn't tell you one song from it like that particularly stood out to me. I remember Meow because it kind of like you just can't help but notice that fucking
just beats you over the head with it.
I mean, I fucking love that hook. It's been stuck in my head for quite a while now. Where it's like meow, 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 meow. I'm like yes.
Like, I feel on catnip. Like that
is quite good.
Perfect representation.
Oh my god, Greg, do you want to rate it? Final thoughts.
Oh yeah, go on then. What I now probably sounded quite negative, but it was enjoyable in a quite a hard to define sort of way. In a turn my brain off sort of way. I think I can just it was made me feel good, and it was a nice injection of nostalgia, fucking Game Boy juice into my veins, which is always nice. But overall, not really going to be going back to it, but slightly above average, so I'm going to give it like a 5.5.
Nice. Ben.
Yeah, this album was pretty good for the most part. Even though I didn't really listen to the ending, I'm not gonna lie. I know what was in store for me. I don't think there was anything like genre defying in the last 10 minutes that I missed out on. The stuff that I did listen to was really good though. It did mold into a sort of one song after a while, apart from like the standout songs. I mean, Endless Fantasy for me will always be like one of the best songs Anamanaguchi have ever done. It's always amazing looking at like chiptune as well and song structure, and like it's almost like they have choruses and they have hooks and they have like almost like not breakdowns but like in like breaks, I guess you could call them, in the songs and stuff without actually having to use lyricism or anything in some of it. They like, so the song structures is always like really beautiful to look at, even when it's just minimalist like chiptune. But you know, so that was a lot of the positive stuff for me from looking at it from like song structure point of view. But for the most part, yeah, it's long as fuck. It's just it's so long. Like as a whole listening experience, it's just a bit like a bit tiring. I will say though,
this long. Sorry to interrupt.
I only have one other full length, and I have yet to listen to it. It's called USA, and it's 52 minutes long, so still pretty long, but not as long.
I will say as well, this was super nostalgic. This did elicit a lot of like really nostalgic memories of me. I mean, we all played video games. We all loved like playing fucking Pokemon and Zelda and shit, and like paying in our underwear, our Game Boys when we were kids and stuff. So it evoked a lot of really strong childhood memories, which was like a really beautiful thing as well. So that bumped it up a lot for me because it was like personal nostalgia. But as an actual sort of listening musical experience, it was okay. So it's a bit hard to rate, but because of that, probably give it like a 6.5 for me. Definitely above average. There's a lot of stuff holding it back, but a lot of stuff also kind of personally that feels quite good as well. So,
yeah. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. I would say it was nostalgic for me, but because the memory is linked with smell. I still can't fucking smell or taste anything. So
can't smell that sweet nostalgia.
Yeah, man. My memory has been so shit recently, and I'm pretty sure it's because I can't smell shit. Like literally, I can't smell shit. I'll have a poo and I'll leave the bathroom door open, and then Claire will be like, "It fucking stinks." And I'm like, "No, it doesn't."
Does it? I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll fart, and Claire will be like, "That fart is disgusting. What the fuck?" I'm like, "Doesn't even smell, mate. What are you on about?"
Fuck you know.
It's not great, but anyway, I'm gonna give it like a 6 because of how long it was, but I did really enjoy it. I'm hesitant to put it on my bangers because it's like it'll come up all the time because it's an hour and 17 minutes. But
yeah,
I kind of went through and liked every other one.
Yeah.
For that
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'll put Prom Night and Endless Fantasy, and I reckon, and Meow. I feel like there's
those
three.
are the ones I've put on for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna do it right now. Let's go into the
I
bangers.
I think John Hughes and Viridian Genesis are also really good songs. Those are those three that you guys mentioned. So Endless Fantasy, Meow, and Prom Night and along with John Hughes and Viridian Genesis are my top 5 from this album.
Nice.
It's funny though, because if this album was stopped at Meow, I'd probably give it like an 8. but because it's so fucking long, it literally
Yeah.
went down 2 notches.
Yeah, it's not helped as well that the 2 songs following Meow, Canal Paradise and Snow Angels are the 2 like weakest songs on the album in my opinion. Like they just did not need to be there. Like In the Basement's also a great song, which is kind of like jazzy.
In the Basement
in a
is
weird way.
good. I liked In the Basement as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm talking now, so I guess I'll wrap it up a little.
Tell us, Kyle.
Let me give some little fun factoids I found out through my research. So this album was kickstarted back in the early days of Kickstarter, and it reached its funding. It needed 50 grand to be made, and it reached that in just 11 hours. They ended up raising up 277 grand for this album, and at the time it was the second most successful music project on Kickstarter, which is pretty mad considering like they weren't really super well known outside of this. I think the biggest thing they'd done prior to this was the Scott Pilgrim soundtrack, which was really good.
You know what? They probably this album would have benefited from them not making that much money. They probably felt like they needed to, spend all that money.
Doesn't have enough on it.
Yeah. Oh fuck, we've only spent half the money. The album's finished. What the fuck? Let's just keep making fucking songs until we run out of money.
It seems like a lot of stuff suffers from that. Like I was watching a little doco on Mighty Number 9, the game, the other day, and that got that's one of the best funded Kickstarters ever. And the game came out and it was shit because they just didn't have the time to implement all of the stuff that like all the stretch goals and stuff. If they just made the base game, it would have been fine.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Oh dear. But this is the opposite. It came out and there was too much.
Yeah. What else was I going to say? Zach, you'll find this quite funny, I imagine. So shortly after this album came out, they made a game called Capsule Silence 24. And it's like a fake AAA FPS game. And the main reason it exists is because it has like a little built-in like console. And if you use the console and do these like little puzzles, you can get into like their file system where it has like a bunch of unreleased songs and a video for the song for Prom Night and stuff, which I thought was really cool. But the guy who made that game is the guy who made the Sonic Dreams collection.
Nice.
So that's a throwback. He also made that Donut Country game where you play as a hole.
Oh yeah, that's a good game.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Sonic Dreams collection was so funny. Oh my god,
I watched you and
I've heard of
Cam's
it,
Let's Play of that not too long ago. It's
like
just
a broken
terrifying.
Sonic game.
Yeah, he kind of marketed it as like a unreleased Sega collection of Sonic games, but all of them are like low-key terrifying.
Yeah,
all of them are just creepy as fuck. Like,
I can't even explain it. Just, I would show you mine and Cam's playthrough, but Cam like got rid of all the videos because his American mates like taking the piss out or something. I don't know.
Wow,
so they're all gone.
Oh.
That's like weird.
That was Smoot Slap, wasn't it?
Smoot Slap. Yeah, we did that for a while.
Yeah, it was good. Shame.
Speaking of Sonic, did you guys see Idris Elba is apparently going to play Knuckles?
Knuckles, yeah.
What, really? What the
Yeah,
fuck?
for real. It sounds like fake news, but apparently it's actually real.
Oh,
dude, I can't wait for fucking Knuckles to just show up with this silky smooth voice. Like,
it's going to be amazing.
it's going to be so good. Oh man, the role of a lifetime. One last cute little bit of trivia. The last gig that Anamanaguchi played before the one that we're going to see them at, they headlined Coachella, which was a festival conducted entirely in Minecraft. So they just got on Minecraft and like all played this. Like it got into a studio and they all just played it through like these in-game modded radios in Minecraft. And there was like a special server made specifically for the people who got tickets, and they just went on there, and it was like actually like they built like a stage and like a cute little Anamanaguchi themed world and stuff for them to play in and stuff.
Is that during the lockdown?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Actually, no, that was in 2018. That was before all this shit. So
what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's really weird
mental.
now.
Yeah, that's lame now.
That's lame now.
I don't like it anymore.
They could have played in real life.
But yeah, anyway, to actually give my final thoughts, yeah, same sort of thing as everyone else. It didn't need to be as fucking long as it was, but I try to look at it in like the fact that I've listened to this album on and off since I first heard it, like basically when it came out, when Zach, shortly after Zach showed me Helix Nebula and a few other tracks, and I still really enjoy it, and it still evokes that really cute feeling of nostalgia. I can't listen to it without thinking of like Sonic zipping through a pastel, cute, pretty, bright, colorful one like landscape and stuff, and it makes me feel good. So I'll give it like a strong 7 to a light 8. I think it's nice. It's nice.
It's nice.
Oh, it's good. Singles. Which one do you want to do first? Ben, you do yours first because I'm tired.
Whoa! Okay.
The energy, bring it up.
The energy. I'm bringing up the energy. Yeah. So, this is fuck. What's the single called again?
Black Eyed Peaks.
Black Eyed Peaks.
Black Eyed Peaks. Glass built houses. That's it.
Castles.
Nearly.
Castles. Is it castles? Fuck.
I can see you're really invested in the song.
Glass built homes. Depends who you are.
By
Glass built bungalows.
First time by Black Peaks.
Kids in glass built houses.
They are a heavy progressive rock band from Brighton, our own band from Brighton. So we got to support our local boys. And they've absolutely smashed it in the last 4 years. And unfortunately, they have also split up as a band as well. They've had to deal with a lot of hardships and a lot of sort of personal situations and everything that obviously isn't public information. But, you know, like all love and support for those guys, and I wish them the best in the future for their future musical endeavors because they're all talented as fuck. So yeah, this is one of their sort of main singles, I'd probably say. What did you guys think, Greg?
Wow, I actually only just recently listened to this song, so it's very fresh in my mind. Yeah, I thought it was real cool. I liked the variety, the way they switch it up quite a lot. You might almost call it progressive, as if it changes and it goes through many phases throughout the song.
Would you say it was heavy, progressive, and rock?
It is all three of those things, yeah. Oh, they should invent a genre for that. But yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was cool. The singer goes between like clean and kind of very screamy and not so screamy quite a lot. I think I was listening to it trying to think of what it reminded me of most, and like some bits of it when he's doing the really high-pitched vocals, it's very like Closure in Moscow, Mars Volta, Cianvar, that kind of.
I was thinking Mars Volta, yeah. That kind of like high pitchy sort of singing, yeah.
But then for quite a lot of the song, I was thinking it sounded most like something like Enter Shikari, because he's doing. I mean, obviously he's got the like Southern English accent, which makes it sound a bit similar, but he's doing slightly more talky bits than quite like screamy bits, and yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's the bit where like there's a bit in the song where he's like hanging with your mates, like he's less singing and more kind of talk singing, and that Southern English is like really coming through in his like delivery. So it kind of really does sound like Enter Shikari in that way, where like I guess I don't know where the lead singer from Enter Shikari is from, but probably the south of England somewhere, maybe. I don't know.
Probably lives next door to us.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I completely agree. It has that kind of vibe, whilst like being a bit heavy and a bit more progressive. What about you, Kyle?
What did I think? Well, I gave this a few listens like by accident. I think we listened to it yesterday, and then it just kind of came on after we listened to the John Gomm album today. So
let's listen
to it again. And Yeah, one really interesting thing about this song that I only realized on the second listen, like it comes in so hard. It comes in like, but then like the rest of the song is like not like that at all. I'm just like, oh, they go back to the heavy bit eventually, right? But no, they just don't. They just don't. It's quite interesting.
That was quite jarring after John Gomm.
Yeah,
It was, yeah.
Well, maybe this, I haven't listened to the album, but maybe the song before this on the album is much heavier, and that's like how they went from one to the next.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think this is the only Blackpink song I've ever listened to, so be interesting to give that a test. But yeah, like his screams are proper intense. There's like a couple parts in this where I was like, where I think me and Ben were both like, oh fucking up. Like towards the end, he's like, I'm just like, oh Jesus Christ. So yeah, pretty good. And then yeah, like it just switches from that like really heavy, bombastic, intense stuff to like the quite pretty soaring vocals, like sort of slower, the diddly diddly, like sort of not distorted part. And then the
like Spanishy guitar in the way where it's just like diddly diddly diddly.
And then like the chorus is like a bit of a mixture of that, so it's like heavier guitars but still with like slingy soaring vocals and stuff. I think it's pretty cool. I enjoy it. I'll give them more of a listen. I think back in the day I listened to another song of theirs and I was like, this is nothing like Glass Built Castles. I don't like it. And then I just never gave them a chance after that. So, but I think I will do that now because it's good.
Good.
Yeah, for sure. There's I can't remember. There's another song I really like off. It's not off of this album from Statues. I think it might have been from like a previous album or one of their other singles. Is really good as well. But for the life of me, I can't even remember what it's called. Is good though.
King?
No, it's Can't Sleep. Can't Sleep. That's it. That's
Sleep.
Yeah, really good song as well. So definitely give a lot of the other stuff a listen. Another listen if you do. What about you, Zach? What do you think?
Well, I really liked it, but I don't remember fucking anything of it. Yeah. And I'm like, just literally, I probably should have gone off and listened to it with Greg because I like, just as we went, singles, let's talk about the singles. Black Peaks, I like look over at my notes. Like, I didn't fucking write any notes. So I won't lie to you guys. I fucked up, friends. I fucked up.
I fucked up.
I fucked up.
Don't goof.
But I also listened to this song after Anamanaguchi and John Gomm. So
your brain must have been a bit splattered by then.
Splattered, but also enjoyed it because it was like Screamy Man with electric guitar. And because of Bloodstock, I'm like very much hardwired into heavy metal at the moment. So I did enjoy it. I don't have much to say because I'm a dickhead and I forgot to fucking write notes apparently.
It's all right. I can fill in. I'll fill in the space.
Cheers,
this song is fucking sick. It's like obviously it's like they're like progressive in the way that like it starts off like really heavy and then it kind of goes almost Spanishy and it's like sitting in a hotel room and then like it just smashes in with that beautiful hook in the chorus where it's like it's really catchy. The "You're blinded in the night," and it sticks with you because and I mean we've said it time and time again, but if your song has got a good chorus, I mean you've basically nailed the song really, because that's as long as that's stuck in people's heads, they're going to be thinking about your song, right? So and yeah, this band absolutely nails that. And especially like the bit at the end of the chorus where he's like "Fire!" that Kyle said. It's so good. Yeah, these guys absolutely kill it. And fun fact as well, us Chub, we play at Brighton Electric, and we always I think me and Kyle once when we were having a drink bumped into these guys. Like I think they were literally just finishing up, and they walked past, and then like they walked out of the Brighton Electric where with the rehearsal studios and everything, and then we were talking to the bar guy, and he was like, "Yeah, that was Black Peaks." And we were just like, oh, fuck. Like I was just like, oh, sick. They're like mildly famous. What the fuck? That's pretty sick. And yeah, like it's kind of one of those things where it feels like you're part of something bigger when like bands that like semi make it or make it, I guess if you could say that, like are playing in the same spaces or utilizing the same spaces. Same thing with a really, really good band that's coming up. That's like a punky band called Glue, GLOO. They did a making of their second album like video recently, and they recorded their second album at Brighton Electric as well. So when I watched that, I was like, oh, we played that! Like, it's just, it made me feel really pumped and really hyped, like to play in the same spaces as these like local bands, which are like doing really, really well. It makes me feel like inspired. So even though they're gone and they're probably going to pursue other musical things in the future, Black Peaks was a great project for the time it ran. So for me, this song is definitely a thumbs up. Double thumbs up.
Big thumbs.
Thumpy dump. Thump my dump. Yeah.
Stick your thumb in my dump.
Oh, sorry if I spoke a bit too much there. I'll tone it back next time.
That's all right, mate. You know, just let the others speak for once, all right?
You know what? It was nice listening to you guys talk about music for once. So anyway, should we move on? Bo Burnham. That was my pick. I didn't listen to this one either. So, well, actually, no, I did. That was I genuinely listened to
this comes on every single time I'm in your car.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm like, I've heard this played in your car so many times.
Oh, Bo Burnham, he is a genius. Have you guys seen Inside yet?
No, I'm not gonna watch it, Zach. I'm not gonna do it.
Why not?
At some point.
I don't watch things.
Oh, right.
Well, you don't like stand-up comedy?
I think I'm gonna watch it when I'm not in isolation, because like as soon as we get out and we have like a week or a couple of weeks out after isolation, then maybe
I'll fucking
give it
amazing. A watch. It is genuinely
It's isolation themed.
Absolutely.
As well. It's a lockdown themed show, so really should watch it
inside.
No.
He wrote it throughout lockdown, and it is just fucking phenomenal. Like genuinely, he made it on his own. He edited it, wrote all the music, did everything on his own. And it's just, I've watched it twice now, and at both times I just sat there like, fucking now that guy's a genius. Like, the first line on the first one is like content, and it's just the first line is something like, if you had told me a year ago that I'd be locked up inside of my home, I would have told you a year ago. Interesting, now leave me alone. And that's just like the first line of the whole like show is just basically him just being like, fuck, I should have listened to people. Not that he would have been able to do anything about it. But he wrote Welcome to the Internet within this Netflix special, which is a song about the internet. And I love in this song that it's created in a way in the style of like a Disney villain. Like he sings it in like a really evil like persona, like, welcome to the internet, have a look around. Like he just sounds like a fucking any Disney song with like that kind of like low voice like that. And because the internet, as good as it is, it also has its bad points. Don't know if you guys knew that. Might have.
I went on the internet once,
yeah. But what I love about this song is it intertwines all the good stuff and the bad stuff. Like, here's a tip for straining pasta, here's a 9-year-old who died. Like, it's just but it's also so like catchy. I had the bit where it's like, could I interest you in everything all of the time, stuck in my head for so long. And what did you guys think? Kyle, we haven't picked on you first yet.
Ooh, yeah, to me, I was thinking about this, and it gives me like really strong, early internet little funny song memes that people used to share vibes. Like, do you remember that song, "The Internet is for Porn"? Like,
Yeah.
it really reminds me of that. I'm like, it's even like the same sort of little, like sort of like little upbeat cadence sort of thing.
It's quite Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny, isn't it?
I love that.
Yeah. So maybe that's deliberate, and it's tying into all the other internet stuff. Maybe he did that full well, knowing what he's doing. I wouldn't be surprised.
I genuinely think he did. Like,
yeah.
I'd like to think that, yeah.
Because I've also heard a fair bit of "Come on, Jeffrey, you can do it," because that's like a meme now.
Put it back into it. Yeah.
That's a meme on TikTok now, isn't it?
They all
like,
are.
Mate, you fucking go through all of his songs are on TikTok. Like, I've been watching loads of YouTubers and like loads of YouTubers that come back after the lockdown, and a lot of them start with kind of like emulating him. And the first song which is Content, where it's just, what I sung to you earlier. It's exploded.
One thing to remember is that he started as a YouTuber. I remember watching him back before he had stand-up specials, and he was just doing funny little piano songs. So that pretty much is where he came from.
Yeah, I think he was a YouTuber, like on the like very early days of the platform, like back when Philip DeFranco was still Sexy Phil.
Oh yeah. God, yeah. Burnham, he had a really viral one that he did one that got quite big just as a YouTube video.
His first few videos were out like 14 years ago or something.
But yeah, I definitely agree with the message. It's kind of like they're gonna have to start doing studies on like how specifically the internet affects people, because it's gonna be like an ongoing thing. And I wonder if like Zoomers are like intrinsically like different mentally to like every generation before them, because they've been exposed to like literally everything, and like every generation beforehand, your parents had to like really try quite hard to not get you exposed to all this sort of shit. But then if you're like everyone's on the internet like from as long as they can remember these days, like you fucking like so many kids get dropped in front of iPads, like just watch Peppa Pig for 3 hours straight. And it's like,
and then you eventually get to fucking beheading videos or something.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I mean, I was about to like say, like, in all fairness, I mean, I was dropped in front of the TV to watch Cartoon Network for like 5 hours straight by my parents. But the difference is, on Cartoon Network, you couldn't accidentally like
it's regulated.
Click on porn.
It's still curated. To be fair, there definitely are people out there like doing that research, because like it's a well-known phenomenon. I think that social media, especially, but generally the internet is messing with people's heads, and I think people are aware, but nobody really understands the extent of it yet.
Yeah, for sure. It's like this whole subconscious, like, people had enough like body image issues with like seeing fucking Playboy or seeing like adverts of like sexy, impossibly fit swimsuit models, and now it's like you go on Twitter and it's like, here's 1 million people who are prettier than you and more popular than you and cooler than you. It's like, oh fuck.
Every time I go on Instagram, I close it feeling a bit shit. Like
it's like,
fucking shit. The internet is shit. I get paid through the internet. I love it. But when I came off social media, my life came and stopped playing multiplayer games and basically just logged off other than work. My mental health just went up, and then the pandemic happened, but that was fine.
Everybody was forced onto the internet for 2 years.
Actually, it was the Aaron Hansen liked a video of the police pushing over an old man in America and then like walking over his body. And I saw that first thing in the fucking morning, and that immediately I was like, I'm done. And I just uninstalled everything. And I've since reinstalled everything, but that's only to promote Smooth VFX, link in the description. Buy Pokemon assets today.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. I often wonder sometimes, like, if we were born in like that sort of like around when our parents were growing up, because they always have these stories like, I have to go to my friend's house and knock on the door and see if they were allowed out, and then we go out, and I'm like, it just sounds like way more like innocent times, like way more like, you know, all kids had to do was just go fuck around in the street and like fucking push a ring around with a stick or something. And
Well,
it's like,
we've got the power of gods, man, compared to like people 100 years ago. I can just immediately communicate with somebody on the other side of the planet using fucking radio waves bouncing off of satellites. Like, that's
yeah, it's fucking, it's amazing. It's so
now.
cool. Yeah, but it's like we literally went from our parents only knowing the people in their small village or town or whatever to I've spoken for like 5 hours with random dudes from Sweden on World of Warcraft about politics and shit. It's like, I don't think like the human brain can't deal with this much information and this much shit going on, and all these people and stuff.
We're not evolved for it, man. Especially if you're like internet famous, you'll be speaking and there could be like tens of millions of people listening to you. Like, how does one mind comprehend that?
You don't. Weird. You hear it so many times after the YouTubers and that come back from cons, and they're like, "Fucking hell, those numbers were real people," and they always just seem a bit drained. And I imagine they just lock themselves in a room like, "People."
I'm not talking to anybody for days.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Shit's fucking weird, and we're not equipped to deal with it. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty much what this is tacking onto. It's like, here's way more information than you can deal with. Here's all the people you can't deal with. Like, here's people who are mad at you because you said something that they like mildly disagree with, and people want to kill you now. It's just like, okay, like sick.
Yeah, he pretty much nailed it. I think it literally is just everything all of the time. Like, if you want to get and engage with it, then if you stare into the void stares into you. And all this randomness is just suddenly a part of your life.
We've got a million different ways to engage.
Yeah. And I feel like even if you try actively to not engage, people will be like, did you see this meme? Did you see this news article? Like, you can't escape it. Like, there's no way you're going to disconnect yourself from it entirely. Like,
yeah, like even if I got rid of all my socials, I couldn't get rid of Messenger. It's where all my friends are. And also, since getting rid of Facebook, where in that period where I did get rid of Facebook, I didn't get invited to events. I found out about them like a week before by like word of mouth, being like, oh shit. So lol.
I think it's fair to say that like it's not a cut and paste thing, and that's illustrated by the song as well, where it's like so schizophrenic in the things that you could see, like the million different ways to engage and everything like that, and like movies and fantasy sports, but also a 9-year-old dying and stuff like that. I think it's fair to say that it's a complex thing, and to bottle it down to just be like it's a bad thing or it's a good thing is watering down what the internet is. It's just a thing. And whatever you make of it, you get out of it. Like whatever you put in, you get out at the end of the day. Like it's in some ways it's a necessity, in others it's just a way to pass time.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to record this podcast right now if it weren't for the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
we'd be doing it by correspondence. I would write down my opinions on an album. And
we'd have to have our own TV show or like a VCR recorder or something. Like
we'd publish it like weekly in a magazine. We'd have an opinion column.
You know how like Bill and Ted did it, like when they were doing their like reviews or whatever. Not Bill and Ted, fucking Wayne's World. Oh yeah. We'd literally be doing it like that, and we'd all be like on like a shitty sofa and just be like, "Welcome to CHUB Cast, bros." Imagine like if we were like full on 20 somethings in like the 90s and stuff, how like different I don't know how different we'd be, but like it would just be funny to see like what our like how he'd speak and stuff would be. It'd be funny.
God.
Dude, you know we'd be very stereotypical, like totally rad, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we'd still be. I mean, we'd still be gamers because there were still games back then, and we'd still be like metalheads because metal was still a thing. But I think for the most part, we'd probably just be like innocent, maybe. Innocent.
I mean, you do shit no one find out about because there's no internet.
That's true. Yeah, you can get away with that.
Yeah,
Like the amount of shit,
now.
the amount of stories that my dad or mum would have said, and they'd be like, "I'm so glad no one had a phone camera then." Some of the shit we got up to.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
like
that's true.
It's like that's why
Yeah.
like tying it into like getting cancelled and stuff. It's like 90% of this shit, like nobody except for the people in the room would know about, because why would you tell anyone? It's always like leaked screenshots or leaked emails or leaked nudes or whatever, you know. It's shit that you didn't want people to see, but just because of the nature of technology, people see it. Whereas if that option was never there,
you like
that
fucking
too has pros and cons as well, because it's like obviously there's all the legit cancellations like the Harvey Weinsteins and that get exposed because of that technology.
Yeah,
but then there's also the kind of permeating fear of you doing anything embarrassing that's going to get filmed and go viral that kind of everyone experiences at a low level. But you're right. It's just the technology. It exists now, and we've all got to adapt
it's
to it.
a thing. Yeah. It's just I don't think it's one of those things. And again, Bo Burnham illustrates that beautifully in a song. Like even though he's singing it like a villain and stuff like that, like Disney villains are. They are charming though. Like the reason why we love Disney villains isn't because, you know, like they're just evil and that's it. Like they're evil, but they have depth and they're charming and they draw you in and they've got like different quirks and stuff like that, like that you really enjoy. Like some of the best characters in Disney are obviously the villains. And I think that's what this song has for it as well, in that kind of same way where the internet is more complex than just this big bad thing. It's something that's got us all. Well, I love it.
I agree. What Disney villain do you guys immediately think of when you hear this song? I think of I think it's Gaston from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, he's got the similar voice.
Yeah.
I kind of think of
Jafar as well.
Jafar a little bit.
Jafar.
Yeah, I see that.
Jafar's a great villain.
Yeah, he's so good.
And Scar as well.
I think of the old lady from Emperor's New Groove.
Yzma.
Yzma.
Oh,
Emperor's New Groove is such a fucking great movie.
That is honestly such an underrated Disney film. It's fucking amazing.
One of the best Disney films ever made. I loved it.
It's great. Yeah. We watched fucking Help Me, I'm a Fish the other day.
Oh,
fucking movie.
Shit.
That's a great film.
Yeah.
I loved that film.
Little fish in a deep.
And then it just gets so fucked up and like
at the end it's like,
serious
oh god,
business.
He's still a fish forever, and my aunt stepped on him and killed him. It's like, oh fuck. Like
I loved that. It was and he was like, no! Oh, so good.
Fly! No, holding his broken body in his arms, like no.
Right, we should move on because I have
should.
only got this Zoom call for another 45 minutes until they cut us off.
Oh shit.
Okay.
So
it came up saying we had unlimited minutes.
Yeah, but I said it'd stop at 11 because it usually does. But
Fair.
Yeah.
Well,
Give ourselves a time limit anyway. We
It's
can't. We shouldn't talk
a
for
thumbs
45
up
minutes.
for me anyway.
It's good. It's a good song.
thumbs up, thumpty
Thumbs
dumps.
up, bumps.
Watch
And,
Inside on
Andrew.
Netflix. It's fucking phenomenal.
I probably will eventually. When Ben watches it, I'll watch it.
You should. You miss out on so many things, Kyle.
I know. I'm just too fucking goblin brain to sit and watch something for like an hour. But then I'll watch like 5 YouTube videos in a row, which is an hour. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sit there with me and watch that fucking Golden Boy anime.
Oh, dude, that was so fucking good though.
That was so dumb.
Go on, Greg.
Straight,
Go on, John
straight
Gomm.
into him, whether he wants it or not. No.
John.
Don Jolly. Yeah. So, John Gomm, your boy. I've mentioned him a few different times on the podcast, I think previously. He is a guitarist slash vocalist from merry old England. I don't know exactly where. And yeah, he's super cool. He's been around for ages, but he's only recently done an album, and he's only recently decided to put his stuff on Spotify. So he actually has loads of songs that are just on YouTube, which I would definitely recommend checking out. A lot of my favorite songs of his are not on this album and they're just on YouTube. So I would definitely recommend you check out.
He was born in Blackpool.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend you check out Passion Flower, Weather Machine. The other one that's really good, he does a cover of Shaka Khan, which is actually a banging. But
How did you find him?
his song Passion Flower went super viral. And I think maybe Josh showed me him, or somebody I know who's into guitar.
Sounds like a Josh kind of musician.
Yeah,
Sure.
his Passion Flower is a crazy song, because he does loads and loads of cool stuff on the guitar while singing, like he does in all of the songs. But he does a really cool thing where he like detunes and retunes the guitar in the middle of the riff, and yeah, it's just very impressive.
You know,
And that song in particular got quite well known, and kind of I don't know if it kickstarted him, but he's been around for a while. But yeah, he does incredibly cool stuff with the guitar, loads of like percussion on the body, loads of really technical techniques, and also with his vocals he has quite an interesting, unique style. I watched his video where he explains his pedal board setup and like the effects he uses, and apparently he has an EQ pedal for his guitar and another one for his vocals. So like he puts his vocals through a pedal to like boost the bass in it. So when you're hearing him singing, that's kind of like bass boosted to give him a more warm toned kind of bassy singing voice. So he can be doing a really high vocal, but it also has this like bassy back end to it because of like the way he sets up his equipment. And yeah, it's really cool. You hear it once you kind of know what he's doing. You're like, oh yeah, that doesn't quite sound like a human voice. That's really cool. But yeah, I would love to know what your boys think. Zach?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, this isn't metal. Where's Growly Boy? I was expecting him to go like that, man. Come on. But nah, this like obviously he's a bit talented. He's not a good drawer though, but he's really talented.
What is the album?
I really don't know. He has similar like tattoos on his arms.
Oh, really?
He likes squiggly lines. I think he's just generally a fan of squiggly lines.
Maybe his kid drew it or something.
Maybe.
Looking it up.
Looking it
kinda
up.
Looks like the outline, like the silhouette of the front of a face, maybe.
Like I see Marge Simpson, but instead of Marge Simpson hair, it's like an Easter Island head.
Oh, I kind of see like a sock puppet, but with like an extra bit on the top.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's a sock puppet with a human head protruding from its forehead.
And there's the
It reminds me of a game that we used to play at school where you draw a squiggle and you had to make a penguin out of it.
Penguin game.
Yeah.
Literally, I spent my entire year 11 maths just playing the penguin game with Cam.
I still play it sometimes.
I thought you were going to say, you know, that game where it's like you fold the paper into thirds or like however many people you're with, and you, like one person does the head and then one person does the. Yeah.
That's a great game.
Well, I honestly don't have the faintest idea what that is, so I'm not going to try.
How does that make you feel, Ben?
Aroused.
Oh.
Really get in touch with.
I'm gonna have to jot that
you.
down. We're gonna have to revisit this in a later date, Ben. Might need to lock you up. But anyway, this guy. So he downtunes his guitar mid songs and shit.
Yeah, sometimes, not all the time. He does it in Passion Flower. I don't know if he does it on this album.
This album, like, I mean, the only stuff I know from him is Passion Flower, and then he did another song after that got quite big. But this seems a lot more like stripped back than any of the like singles he's posted in the past. I feel like, especially with Passion Flower, he was going for the whole like, look how fucking sick I am with guitar like thing to get some attention. Whereas now it's like, I'm going to write stuff about my feelings and actual things I'm passionate about. So
yeah, there was a lot of like deep songs in this album, and there like loads of like really deep meanings and stuff. I genuinely liked it. I just listened to it at the wrong time because obviously after Bloodstock, I like plopped this. I like was listening to like, I don't know, Creator, and then I was like, oh shit, I need to listen to John Gomm. Oh no. I'm not in the mood for this. But because I left it to the last fucking minute, I could have listened to this before Bloodstock and probably got a better reaction. But like, you know, even through like what I was in the mood for, with an open mind, this guy is super talented. Like the Ghost Inside You, Cocoon, Deep Sea Fishies, like that, they've just got like such great twiggly twigglies is what Claire calls it. Where it's just twiggly, where it's just like doing I don't even know. You know, I recently tried to learn the guitar. I say tried, I'm still trying.
I didn't realize you'd started trying.
Yeah. Claire had a dodgy old acoustic at her house, and I asked her to bring it back with her. And I've been learning. I learned a couple of chords, bless me. And then I realized, and then I remembered very swiftly why I learned bass, because my fingers are fat. Like legit, I started playing the guitar when I was younger, and the strings are too thin and small and close together. So that's legitimately why I started playing bass, because the strings were far apart. But yeah, and then I was listening to this, and I was just sitting there like, what's the point of even learning guitar?
That's pretty much what all the comments on
around.
The Passion Flower video are.
Honestly, like, this guy must have put in his 10,000 hours, like, and so much more. I tried to look. So he has a cover of, you know, the song Shaka Khan.
Yeah,
I don't.
Old pop song.
Shaka Khan.
He has a cover of it, and he sells his tabs on his website, which everyone should check out. They're really, really detailed, and he even details like the percussion and exactly where you need to hit the guitar and all. Like, so I bought. It's really, really impressive, and they're quite cheap. Yeah, everyone should, if you are interested, guitarists, go to John Gomm's website and buy his fucking tabs. But yeah, I got the Shaka Khan one, and I spent like 2 months trying to learn this song, and I got maybe just about halfway through it, playing it at like 2/3 of the speed that he plays it at. And I hit a wall, and I've been playing guitar for like 10 years plus, and I was just like, oh my God, this guy is so good. Makes it look so easy.
Definitely tell why Josh likes him.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you see the way that Josh plays, and you can see this guy's probably was quite a major influence on him in like, you know, especially when he was doing like the melodica stuff with Jack. Like you could see it like on a lot of the diddly ding bung 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 bung, like on like smacking the guitar and stuff like that. It's just like that kind of style. That style of playing in general is just so like mesmerizing to watch. Like it's just always like, whoa, how are you pulling that off? Like I can barely hit a high note, let alone like do all that shit with my hands. So yeah, it's technically it's so impressive for sure.
I'm gonna do a few more fingerstyle guitar albums on the podcast at some point, because there's so many good ones. Like they're quite different from this as well. Like I was gonna do Antoine Defoe, who I know you've listened to, Carl.
Yeah, Anton Defer is probably my favorite fingerstyle guitar player because he's like a very emotional player. Like, I mean, this was as well, but I feel like this album had more songs where it was like conveying more of a concept. Like the song Universal Biology, like was a bit cheesy at times for me when I was listening to the lyrics, because there's parts where he's like whispering and it's like, this sound is just a vibration of a wave. Ooh.
Yeah,
it's just like, okay, dude. Like...
I felt that.
But the song itself was cool. Like it had like a really cool riff, but then
I'm not gonna lie. At times, it was verging on a little bit pretentious, if I'm honest. Like especially with that, like not all of it, obviously. I mean, because literally the song after "Song for a Rainy Day" is like very like laid back, simple kind of thing, and he's singing about a fucking rainy day. As far as I could tell, anyway, I couldn't find any lyrics, but it sounded like he was just like rainy day. Singing a song for a rainy day, kind of thing. Like after doing this, this pretentious song before, but to kind of, I guess, bring the mood down. I'm gonna be a ninny. In this case, I had the same thing with Anamanaguchi as I did with this. Like I mentioned in the Anamanaguchi review, it was one of these albums where it was like technically brilliant. Like I can't fault the guy at all, but it was one of those things where it was a lot of like the same kind of vocal delivery and like guitar, like prangy, smacky, like playing, and it kind of all, for the most part, kind of molded into one for me. There were like elements that like stood out, like Universal Biology, where it had like a bit more like weird stuff going for it, or like the Cocoon, which is the single off of it as well. I quite enjoyed that one, but for the most part, like I didn't feel like a lot of it really stood out that much. I think the best ones, in my opinion, which might be a bit controversial, are the songs where he didn't sing, and it was just the guitar stuff, because that was a lot of the stuff where, I mean, like the chip tune, you kind of just enjoyed the music, but sometimes I felt like his vocal delivery, because he has that weird pedal thing going on, like sometimes it distracted from it a little bit, in my opinion, and I was just like a bit like, I'm not sure I like it. I like that kind of vocal delivery, and it was kind of just a bit weird for me. But yeah, for the most part, like again, maybe album fatigue, or like, you know, like Anamanaguchi, but yeah, it kind of just felt like it molded all into one song for me for the most part.
It is definitely a strange vocal style for sure. Like, because there'll be some songs where he'll just be like, for like ages.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he does that in the last song, actually. Like in it's either Swallow You Whole Until the Sun Destroys the Earth. I can't remember which one it was.
Swallow You Whole, because that was one of my favorite tracks on the album.
Yeah, where he does the whole like, but I actually kind of liked that though. That wasn't. I think when he was being weird, it was good, in my opinion. It was only when he sang like normally where I felt like it was a bit weak. Like again, maybe it's just because personally I wasn't a big fan of his vocal delivery. But yeah, I felt like when he was kind of going like, I actually kind of liked that. So yeah, I don't know. Anyone else want to take over?
I felt the same. Like when he is singing, I feel like, because he's such a unique and really, really impressive technical guitar player, but even though he's a fucking wizard, like there's only so mental you can go on the guitar whilst you're singing. And like he's definitely going for a more of an emotional, like actual songwriting vibe on this album to his previous stuff, the stuff that I've heard at least, which is really nice. And it's like, it's very vulnerable. It's very like it's just pretty and ethereal, and it makes you really realize he's like a real person who thinks about like I think the song Deep Sea Fishes is about how like fish at the bottom of the sea, like I'm paraphrasing here, but basically it's about like fish at the bottom of the sea are like such mysterious, like insane creatures that are so unlike everything else and are so unique, but nobody wants to see them because they're ugly as fuck and kind of terrifying. And it's kind of like the same sort of thing with like a bunch of people who have lived where, like, you know, in the past, like during their lifetime, maybe they weren't really recognized for what they did, but then because they were weird and out there, but then after they moved on and like people actually had the time for it to settle in and realize how influential and important and unique they were, now they're seen for like the cool, amazing thing that they are. So it's kind of like a cool allegory, I think, with deep sea fishes, and it's just like, you know, for a song that sounds like deep sea fishes, it sounds kind of like silly, like a little children's book name or something, but like the actual meaning of it is really quite deep. And
no, that is really cool. Yeah.
But I feel like it's an album you've got to really sit and like proper listen to, because it's quite like noodly, and especially like with when you're limited to just an acoustic guitar in your voice, like it's really hard to keep it like diverse and keep people's attention for a whole album's worth of time. So it's just an issue everybody's going to have, I think. But I think I agree with Ben in that it would have been cool if he'd had a few more instrumental passages where he just went a bit apeshit, because that's like, at least for me, like that's why I listen to him. So yeah, it's nice to see this like more personal side of him, but that's not what I listen to him for, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick one downside of this album, it would be that like he could have done a lot more showing off on the guitar.
I think so.
That he just he didn't quite do. Obviously that's the direction that he wanted to take it, but like it would have been cool to do both.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely being humble. This album came out in October 2020, which makes me think that he probably needed some money or something. It's a fucking pandemic shit. I reckon just because of the timing of this album, maybe that's like the only reason why it exists. Like you said, everything was on YouTube, right?
Yeah, that might be his reason for finally putting stuff on Spotify, to be fair, because technically he's got 2 albums before this, but you have to buy them directly from his website.
Right.
They just don't exist on Spotify. So yeah, you're probably right, because I think he's a big like live music guy. He goes around playing small venues and everything. So yeah, that might actually be the whole reason why this album exists in the first place. But
he's like, fuck, I need some money.
Yeah,
definitely would have benefited. I thought his singing was really weird as well, but like the fact that he's singing and playing guitar at the same time is super cool. But at the same time, I personally, I need to listen to it now. I know about the pedal thing though, because that's quite cool. It didn't help that I was listening to this album when I was doing some like work, so like I need to stop doing this, to be fair, and especially with Anamanaguchi and John Gomm, where they're both quite like backgroundy music. That's every so often I'd just chime back in because like he does some crazy like noodle and I'm like, oh wow, what the fuck, that was sick. But then most of the time it's in the background, and I need to stop fucking doing that for CHUBcast albums.
it's definitely like one of the things where it's like albums that are easy to listen to in the background, like not necessarily saying that they're background songs, right? But songs,
super talented,
but they're songs that can easily, if you're not paying attention, like meddle into the background because obviously they're very similar to each other. Again, not a huge criticism or anything, but that's just how the music is with both the albums we reviewed. So it's one of those things where maybe in the future, I suppose, like I'm gonna try, because I did the same thing. I listened to this album on the last hour of, well, Greg knows because he works at Bulb with me as well. On the last hour of our work day, we do emails. And so during my email time, I was listening to this album. So obviously, if I'm wasn't focusing on like helping an Aggie customer out or anything like that, like I was listening to it. And sometimes if you're not paying attention to certain things, it does like meld together a little bit. I mean, you could probably say that about a lot of bands and a lot of albums, but I
Yeah.
think like these ones specifically come to mind definitely because of the consistency of their sound in each song for both the albums. So it was definitely something that I was like, fuck, I need to concentrate on the music, which is always difficult.
After this episode, I'm definitely going to do that. I'm going to just put aside 3 hours.
Yeah, just some
in a
time
month. Just fucking
be hard.
Yeah, and just put these like my AirPods in because they're fucking high quality and just fucking write some notes and listen to shit. I listen to everything because I'm doing other shit. It goes in the background and here I am.
Like a difference between like active listening and passive listening, right? Like
yeah. And that's why prog is the greatest genre of all time, because it keeps your attention. And it's
it really does.
throughout.
It really does. Like the first time I ever heard "Crack the Sky," like I could not pay attention to that entire fucking album. I was just like, oh, like,
yes. I'm not wired like that, man. It goes in the background for me. But if I've got like some like really like some hard rock with some great riffs and some catchy choruses, then it's in the forefront for me.
Yeah.
But everyone's different. Final thoughts. Final thoughts of John Gomm. Me, I guess. I'll talk.
That's what you just about to say.
See, yeah, I wasn't particularly a fan of his vocals, but the fact that he was singing and playing the guitar at the same time was really impressive. I do actually think that the songs where he wasn't singing stands out the most as well, because that's when I like came back into it, because when he did some like Sick Noodle and I'll just be like, oh, and then he obviously with the percussion and stuff, it's I've started fucking learning the guitar and play. I can't remember, E string or something. Trying to get that ruby ring to not touch the end string, so it doesn't fucking dampen the sound. It's so hard. And unlike bass, where you kind of play it like a crab claw, guitar you have to proper do that.
Yeah.
And it's a stupid instrument. And and so like, you know, now I've actually sat down and tried to learn some guitar. When I listen to someone like this, I'm like, well, one, I give up, and two, how that's fucking insane. So, but even still, I'm still going to give it like a 6 out of 10, just because Kyle, I don't know. I just talking.
Yeah, you don't need to
6. Yeah, 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome.
For me, yeah, it's real good. I really appreciate the artistry and the wizardry. But I found in terms of like, as I said, like I feel like he let the guitar proficiency take a backseat to more lyrical stuff. And I'm gonna be honest, like the only lyrics I really remember are from Deep Sea Fishes, because I thought it was cool, and from the other one. Was it Universal Biology? Because I thought they were lame. So it's just like two. I'm not a very lyricy kind of guy anyway, as we've established many times before in the podcast. I don't pay attention to lyrics, to be honest, until like I'm already obsessed with an album. So it's like a neat little bonus. But I feel like this album, they're very much in the forefront and supposed to be like a focal point. And me like when the man do the guitar good, and he could have done more of the guitar good on this album than the lyrics good. So for me, I think also like, it's I ended up favoriting 3 songs off this album, which were Swallow You Whole, Butterfly Hurricane, and Cocoon, because they are all right good. Especially Swallow You Whole has this really cool like switching between like these really deep bass notes and like the slappy tappy guitar stuff. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I don't see myself listening to this album again. The songs did like kind of blend together. Even though I absolutely love like Passion Flower, I've never really given him like an extensive listen, and this hasn't really convinced me to do that. So I think I'll give it like a 6 out of 10 too, maybe even like a strong 5. just because it's nice, but I was a bit disappointed because I was expecting more like wizardry, and that's not what I got. But I'm glad he put his heart on his sleeve and he took a risk, and it was cool. But what do you reckon, Ben Dolio?
Yeah, I pretty much echo the same points you both made. Like I do wish there was a bit more prominent guitar stuff. Whilst obviously the stuff that he was doing, like we've all said it before. Let's not mince our words. This man is a talented man, and he's definitely doing wonders for the guitar world. Let's be real. But you know, displayed in this album because he wanted to go a bit more vocal and a bit more heartfelt. He lended himself more to the vocals than he did to the guitar work, like necessarily, which is fine. Like that's a slightly different, like ever so slightly different direction that he's already going, and that's cool. But I felt like the vocals were a bit flat for me. They were a bit weird, and then like my favorite parts are always the guitar parts for sure. So it would have been better if he just kind of, in my opinion, if he kind of just stick more to that and just did that and everything, and that would have been perfect. You know, I probably would have given it a higher rating. It did mold into sort of a lot of them did kind of like go into one club, kind of like Anamanaguchi for me. But similarly to the last album as well, the whole experience was an enjoyable experience. None of it was bad. It was all good music. It just wasn't like necessarily like really gripping enough for me to sort of notice of it. But if this was like played any time, or if this came on my like shuffle or anything like that, I'd be like, oh, this is really nice. This is pleasant. This is something that I'd listen to like on a rainy day. You could say they've got a lot of songs for a rainy day. Anyway, I'm gonna follow my previous review and also give this album a 6.5 because it is definitely an above average album for me. It is good. He is talented. It just missed the mark for being sort of like particularly memorable in a lot more places. But I favorited a few songs off of it as well. Cocoon stood out. Again, it's the single off the album, and it shows because it is a really, really good song. Song for a Rainy Day, even though I'm like laughing about the name, it actually was pleasant. And Swallow Your Whole as well was really good. So yeah, 6.5 for me.
Nice. Yeah, I guess I'll cap it off. Like, you guys know I fucking love this album. I picked it as one of my top 5 from 2020. Obviously I'm probably a bit biased because I was already familiar with his career, and like I've followed a lot of his live videos, and I bought the albums that weren't released on Spotify, and like I'm already a big fan. But I totally agree. Yeah, he's gone in a more like lyric-y, vocally rather than guitar-y direction with this album, and obviously that's what he wanted to do. I personally would have preferred it, same as you guys, if he'd thrown a bit more like guitar technicality in there. But also I've listened to this album loads of times through, like on repeat. I just really, really enjoy it. My favorite songs, to be fair, are probably, I don't think we talked about Dream Factories. That might be my favorite song off the whole album because I find it really, really catchy.
Oh, yeah, that was a cool song. Yeah, that was a good one.
I really like Song for a Rainy Day and Until the Sun Destroys the Earth. They're probably my 3 favorites.
Is Dream Factories, is that the one where he kept saying like towards the end of the song, like that it was something like there are no more factories, or like all the factories are dead, or I remember there was
Burn the Factories Down.
Burn the Factories Down, that's it. I remember that specifically because he kept saying that over and over, and I was like, it's quite evocative. I quite like that.
I feel like it's he obviously like was, I don't know, the lyrics were a big part, like Carl said, like the lyrics are a focal point of this album. But I feel like there's a lot to appreciate when you like, if you really go back and pay attention to the lyrics, like they are really good. Especially in like those songs that I named. And the other ones that you guys have named. But yeah, generally I think it's really good. I do think it was slightly limited by the specific direction that he decided to take it in. It's not a 10 out of 10, but I do rate it really highly. I'm going to give it like an 8.5, I think. But that said, all of my favorite John Gomm songs are not on this album. So like in general, he's like a 10 out of 10. This album isn't his best, I would say.
Okay. I've still not listened to Passion Flower. Was it Passion Flower? Is that the one? So I'm gonna
that's
give
definitely
that.
watch the YouTube video of that one. It's fucking nutty.
I've said it like loads of times, but watch Weather Machine. That's probably my favorite song of his. It's fucking ridiculous.
Nice.
Gonna have to do him on a single one day.
Interesting facts about Passion Flower that I just saw from Wikipedia. It was tweeted out by Stephen Fry, apparently, which is probably why it went semi-viral as well during that time period, because he tweeted out the YouTube video back in the day.
Okay.
So there you go.
Yeah. Back when John Gomm had a bowl cut as well.
Nice.
Nice.
Andrew Branch, you have recommended us some music in the past. We're calling you out.
We're calling you out.
Cancel you.
He's just there in his room like
we're behind you.
Well, when I was looking back for these albums, he actually recommended these albums a year ago now, over a year ago now.
Really well, we're finally getting around to it. Episode 30. We planned this months ago. Is an Andrew Branch special because he is awesome, basically.
He's stuck with us this whole time.
Because you've been supporting us for over a year.
Which is fucking phenomenal. So we're going to do two of your recommendations. We're going to do Manchester Orchestra, Simple Math. The album is Simple Math. And The Deer Hunter, Act 4 Rebirth in Reprise. Those two albums. Don't know if they're the ones you would necessarily pick, but tough.
He picked Simple Math.
He did suggest specifically Simple Math, but for the Deer Hunter, he just said
entire Deer Hunter saga, which we don't have time for. So
I thought about we should start on Act 1, and then I was like, what if Act 1's not the best album? So I looked it up, and it seems to be people agree that Act 4 is the best one. So we're starting with Act 4, like weirdos.
Cool.
Nice.
So let's go.
If we really love it, I'll go with another 3. Or is this the last one? Is there or is there more after this?
Act 4 came out in 2015, and I know Act 5 came out in 2016. I don't know if that's the last one.
Oh shit!
It
should be up to Act 11 now, surely. Then
Act 5 seems to be the end of the saga.
Yeah, they had 2 more albums after that, but they were not part of the saga.
Okay.
So that's it. No singles next episode either, because we're going to go through some comments instead.
We're big successful YouTubers now. We've got 100 subscribers.
We're kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
If you made it to the end of the episode and you didn't subscribe yet, fucking come on, boys.
Yeah, what are you doing, man? Come on. You've given us 2 hours of your time. Like, drop a like.
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Socials are down there as well.
Yeah.
In the description. And
buy a Chub t-shirt on Redbubble.
Yeah.
A shower curtain, a mug, or whatever.
Yeah. You can buy a coaster, a magnet, a pin,
a dildo,
a dildo, stickers. You can stick your stickers on your dildo and fucking shove it up your bum in the shower using your shower curtain.
And then when you inevitably slip and fall and die, you can be wrapped in the Chub tapestry when you get put in the ground.
Yeah, into the Chub coffin.
For our Halloween gig, should we just go with the Chub crypt or whatever? For Halloween, should we all go as like Chub Man, and like one of us wears the shower curtain as like a cloak, and one of us wears one of us just covered in stickers.
Oh my god!
Oh, Carl, you could do it.
Yeah, the Halloween gig is going to be hilarious. Like, I'm assuming we're all just doing whatever Halloween costumes we were going to wear anyway. But
yeah.
Dude, I was going to dress up as Cowdoy.
Oh, that was so good.
So I'm just going to say, I'm Cowdoy.
I'm Cowdoy. I'm not going to lie, Greg. You kind of look like You kind
You
of
do look like
Broden, yeah.
Calton.
Oh
Mate,
my
I could grow a
god,
little beard.
grow a beard.
yeah. If you grow a
I've
beard
already
and
got
keep it
mine
bald.
planned, to be fair. Me and Mel doing Chucky and Bride of Chucky.
Oh, very
Uh,
good. Very
To be
good.
fair, we might do Merry and Pippin. We don't know yet, but yeah,
Oh, nice.
Claire and I
I'm,
that is.
me and Sean are going as I'm going as a Ghostbuster, and Sean's going as a Sigourney Weaver's character.
Nice.
What was the name?
Sigourney Weaver's character possessed by Zool.
Possessed by Zool. Zool, motherfucker!
Me and myself are going as a lonely boy.
You go as Chub man.
Yeah, you can be Chub Man.
I'm going as Chub Man. I'll just wear the shower curtain, cover my face in stickers, and fucking wear the shirt.
And wear the shirt and wear like just badges and shit.
Nice.
So good.
I could, instead of wearing the shower curtain like a cloak, I could wear it as like a skirt or something.
I fucking love it.
Like a robe.
Anyway, I'm just gonna say, if
Amazing.
this episode gave you a chub,
Like and subscribe.
oh,